Hello, kia ora, g'day, I'm Philip Duncan from Weather Watch TV on YouTube with your Australia-only forecast through until Sunday. We've got another big high pressure zone down here to the south. That is driving in a slightly cooler southerly for Victoria and curving around into parts of New South Wales, even getting right up to Queensland around Brisbane. So you might have noticed the temperatures have dropped for some of those areas as that airflow comes from south of Australia, curves up into the Tasman Sea, and then gets kind of pulled back around as it comes into the eastern side of Australia. But of course, as that airflow moves northwards and as it moves westwards across the deserts and the daytime sunshine comes out on the western side as a windy easterly with higher temperatures, and that's certainly what we're seeing at the moment. Low pressure to the north around the Gulf of Carpentaria and also off the western side of Australia. Now, these lows off Western Australia are worth monitoring because one of them could spark up into a storm, but the computer modelling is very conflicted about that. But there is a chance of some wet weather, certainly around places like Exmouth could be seeing some of that rain in the next few days ahead. So the departure from normal, 7-day departure from normal, look at all the blue showing up. So blue means for this time of the year, for the next 7 days at this time of the year, we are seeing a number of parts of Aussie leaning wetter than average. And white means normal rainfall for this time of the year. Now, normal might only be a few millimetres for some of you, but for others, that is heavier rain. So good to see parts of Victoria and New South Wales and some parts of Western Australia getting some rain relief for those of you that want it and need it. I understand not everyone wants it at this time of the year, but for those that do, we are seeing some rain relief in places where we haven't really been seeing it so much in recent weeks, and that is very good news. South Australia, a little more on the edges of it. You do get some rain relief here and there, but maybe right over Adelaide itself and more populated parts of South Australia, not necessarily the rain relief that you might need. So let's get into the forecast. Heaviest rain between Cairns and Mackay, mostly around Townsville, where you may exceed 100, 150 millimetres in the 24 hours leading up until 6 p.m. Tuesday, Eastern time, or actually might be more sort of 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, Tuesday. So by the end of the day, at least by mid-evening, you're seeing some pretty big rainfall totals and spreading across other parts of Queensland with that low pressure zone here in the Gulf. But otherwise, for the most part, there's not a huge amount of rain around, just a few showers on the eastern side here and a few thunderstorms that will spark up. Now, yes, some of those could be severe thunderstorms in the tropics, but elsewhere, not a huge amount of rain. By Wednesday, we've got high pressure in the Tasman Sea. That placement blows easterlies into the southeastern corner of Queensland. Not huge rainfall, but there is the chance of some thunderstorms, especially further northwards and inland areas getting those severe thunderstorms, obviously, throughout the day. But you've also got this very heavy rain stuck between Townsville and Mackay. And again, you're talking about rainfall totals well exceeding 100 millimetres, could be up to 200 millimetres in 24 hours. In very isolated spots, but it is possible along that coastal part here, especially around Townsville. Temperatures lifting up further down around New South Wales with a few severe thunderstorms inland across the day. Dry mostly for Victoria, dry mostly for Tassie, and dry for the most part around South Australia. The Northern Territory and Western Australia seeing thunderstorms developing and spreading out into more places as the day goes on, but except for the southwest, down around Albany, bit more of a refreshing breeze off the Southern Ocean. In fact, slightly cooler for many of those of you in the southwest. On to Thursday now. So messy kind of forecast, but messy means thunderstorms. So seeing afternoon showers, afternoon thunderstorms popping up. Also, the wet weather in Queensland is sliding further down the coastline, more down towards Rockhampton and Mackay, still pouring with rain, or at least heavy areas of rain and showers around Townsville, but the totals are dropping off maybe down to 40, 50, 60 millimetres in a day. Biggest totals, Mackay to Rockhampton. That's where you're seeing anywhere between 60 and 100 millimetres across Thursday. Severe thunderstorms also around New South Wales. And here is the better news for South Australia as well, getting a chance of those thunderstorms. Now, not everyone wants a severe thunderstorm, but sometimes the outer edges produce exactly what you need. A downpour of rain. So hopefully if you need some wet weather, this is what you want. For those that don't want wet weather, those in harvest at the moment, some of you are, hopefully the drier weather is quite good for you. You see around Victoria, wet weather on either side kind of closing on in. By Friday, that means you've got a chance of some wet weather, even starting Thursday PM going into Friday around Victoria. Severe thunderstorms certainly over towards the Alps, that's possible. Showers elsewhere, but we are seeing a risk of severe thunderstorms in parts of South Australia, New South Wales, Victoria, and obviously around Queensland. Then we jump over to the Northern Territory, not as busy in the Northern Territory at the moment. Around Darwin and Katherine, there are a few thunderstorms, but they're not as big and as widespread as they could be, as we've been saying now for a few weeks. Not as dramatic stuff happening around the Northern Territory, but we may still be seeing thunderstorms west of Alice Springs, down towards Uluru, Ayers Rock, that area seeing a few thunderstorms. But we jump over here to the Pilbara and parts of the Kimberley, and that's where we're seeing some real severe thunderstorm activity and the low pressure zones that I mentioned off the coastline. And watch what happens here on Saturday. One of these lows sinks down close to Port Hedland, close to Exmouth, those areas, starting to feel some wind picking up and some rain picking up. Now, the computer modelling is not convinced 100% that we are going to be seeing a low pressure zone like that off the coast of Port Hedland moving in. Pretty confident there will be low pressure offshore, but whether it's just a pool of low pressure or spinning into a storm, that's the part we can't yet answer. But there is a chance here going into the weekend that there could be a storm, a tropical low, or even a cyclone. Doesn't look like a major cyclone yet, but it's possible. And not only that, but linking up from the Pilbara all the way down to Esperance Goldfields, you're seeing this massive area of severe thunderstorms that will be spreading out across the day into populated places. Kalgoorlie could be seeing it as well. Maybe not Esperance Township though, because it's drier on that coastal zone, but the region further to the north there, some really heavy rain coming through into the afternoon. Eastern areas, a few thunderstorms, a few severe thunderstorms, but large dry areas for places like Melbourne and Sydney and Brisbane and everyone in between. And Tasmania still got those westerly winds blowing through. There is the next high pressure system, which arrives basically on Sunday for you in Tassie and starts to dry skies out further northwards again, bringing back that easterly across Victoria, South Australia, and over towards Western Australia. But look at the rain here on Sunday around Western Australia. Going into parts of South Australia, I think Sojourner will stay dry, but west of there, you're seeing these severe thunderstorms, and then they spread all the way up and they come up into the northern half of Western Australia, over to Northern Territory, over to Queensland. Normal setup here in the tropics, put it that way, for Sunday afternoon and evening. But that low off the coast there, that's worth just keeping an eye on. It is joined with the other one nearby, and so they might be stealing energy from each other. We'll have to wait and see. So we'll have another update for you for our Australian viewers on Thursday with our next Australia only update, and that one, of course, we dive deeper into the rainfall. So we will see you then on Thursday. Have a fantastic week ahead.